Anthropology is about understanding people. Anthropology is about understanding society. Anthropology is about understanding the diverse cultures. Okay, limited syllabus है, static syllabus है, a little bit of current events का understanding होना चाहिए, but it is a lot more sort of predictable in comparison to many other sort of optionals. You are expected to understand concepts and ideas and not expected to mug up a lot of facts. If your foundation is very strong, if you've actually followed this particular process, naturally you will be in the top 5, top 3, possibly even the top in this. The whole idea is not to read more and more and more, right? The idea is to read less, okay, but to make the most out of it, to get the most out of it. All of them are essentially rankers from one mains with us.
Just would like to share my journey with Nataraj Sir, who has been helping me get through these tough times in the past 3 years. His personalized mentoring, his daily, almost daily calls, his constant guidance, his just way of telling things is a lot different from what we get in the market right now.
Hello everyone. We are launching Anthropology Foundation course for UPSC 2027. The course begins on the 27th of Jan 2026. It's going to be a foundation program, so matlab, it is designed for students who are starting from scratch. You don't need any background in anthropology, right? You're not expected to be a student of science. You're not expected to be a student of social science or humanities, right? You don't have to know anything in anthropology, and that's why it's foundation. We start everything from scratch, right? Rushing nahi hoga, theek hai? This is the phase of base building, concepts and terminology and thinkers and diagrams and answers writing, right? Everything will be started, okay? And base build karenge yahan pe. Classes will be in English/Hindi, right? Notes to English mein honge, and hopefully by the end of the course, you should have the ability to look at the world and analyze it from an anthropological lens. Okay, aapka thinking and aapka language, right? Everything should start sounding more anthropological, and that should be the goal of your foundation program. A little about me. My name is Nataraj. I am anthropology faculty here at Sarrthi IAS. A little bit about me, and this is a little bit about our results, right? So these are the results from the last couple of years. So last year, the highest ranker from anthropology is our student, Aditya. Aditya has been my student for the last 3 years, and he's done fabulous last year, right? Apart from that, we have so many of these students, and barring Aditya, right, all of them are essentially rankers from one mains with us. Okay, one mains with me. Fabulous. IAS, IPS, right? IRS, like a whole lot of results in just one mains. Why choose anthropology, right? Why choose anthropology as an optional? This is a very important question, right? Anthropology Q. Right? In case you're choosing anthropology, it's a choice that you're making. Baki subjects mein, you don't have that particular choice. GS plus SA is common to everybody. But optional mein aapko choice hai. Generally, why students choose anthropology? Ek hai ki anthropology has a well-defined syllabus, right? The keyword being well-defined. Okay, you know what exactly is going to be part of your syllabus, what is expected to be studied. ठीक है, limited syllabus है, static syllabus है, a little bit of current events का understanding होना चाहिए, but it is a lot more sort of predictable in comparison to many other sort of optionals. ठीक है, predictable तो है, right? Second thing is, it is not a subject that is a lot of memory oriented padna. ठीक है, it's not about memory based sort of studying. Anthropology is very conceptual. If you do it the right way, anthropology is highly conceptual subject, right? You are expected to understand concepts and ideas and not expected to mug up a lot of facts. Okay? You're expected to understand ideas. Once you understand a concept, whether it is some concept in anthropology like your kinship, culture, evolution, tribe, caste, right? You can use that base, that foundation for writing many answers from that same base. Okay? It's about conceptual sort of understanding. Third one, there is a lot of overlap when it comes to GS papers as well, right? Anthropology mein, Indian society in your GS1, GS2 mein, most of that governance wala portion, vulnerable groups, right? GS3 mein, inclusive sort of development. There are so many parts of your anthropology from prelims perspective and from your mains perspective, right? A lot of examples for your ethics, right? So there is a lot of overlap with GS as well. Okay? A couple of myths also that I'll basically talk about, right? A lot of students actually feel that, anthropology is a science subject. Actually, science ka jo portion hai, it is relatively smaller than even what you're expected to know for your prelims. Okay? There is one part or two parts, okay? And that is about genetics. You've got to understand how inheritance works, right? Another part is about the human body, the disease, right? So something about those also is going to be there, right? In fact, many students who have done well, generally tend to be from humanities subjects and social science subjects, and even students who've basically done really well, barring one student in that topper ka pictures that I had basically shown you, right? All of them had basically studied biology only till class 10th, right? Anthropology is about understanding people. Anthropology is about understanding society. Anthropology is about understanding the diverse cultures. Okay? That's myth number 1. Myth number 2, जो है, anthropology is kind of theoretical. Okay? Anthropology, yes, of course, every academic field has some theory to it. But anthropology is about how you sort of see everyday life, right? Things that you see every day. Marriage, family, food habits, religion, politics, the human body, disease, everything around you, but from an academic point of view, right? So if you're looking for an optional, right, that essentially has these sort of components, is scoring, is relatively manageable in terms of the syllabus depth and breadth, right, and is kind of interesting, right, then anthropology could be that one subject that fits very well with these kind of, requirements. Why choose the foundation batch? Okay? See, you might be thinking, why can I not just study it by myself and then join a test series program or an advanced sort of a batch later? Okay, issue is not about effort, because all of you are very, very hardworking. Okay, it's not about intelligence, because I'm sure that you're fabulous with regard to that. Issue is basically process. See, anthropology is one of those kind of subjects, jahan pe, right, especially because it's conceptual, right, the process matters more than the overall volume or the overall sort of speed. Okay, agar process you basically get it wrong, a lot of the effort may not be in the right sort of direction, and that is why many students falter. GS and optional is slightly different, because optional is a subject that is at a master's sort of a level. Okay, at a master's sort of a level, a subject, any subject, and especially anthropology, will have its own sort of language, and you've got to become more comfortable with it, right? You have words like lineage and descent and culture, adaptation, race, ethnicity, right? They actually look kind of familiar based on, your general sort of reading. But each of these things have a anthropological meaning, a specific anthropological meaning, right? And there is also, more importantly, a specific UPSC exam related breadth and depth that is required. Okay, so if the foundation is relatively weak, what happens later is that, there is a lot of effort, there's a lot of studying, students keep reading more and more, 100 pages banate hain, notes ko 200 pages, 300 pages. Eventually it becomes so bulky that it is very difficult to be able to revise it, recall it, or even to be able to sort of use it effectively in exam. Right? The most important thing about foundation program is that you've got to understand what is the breadth and the depth. Okay? So for this, we've basically given a very simple process that we follow in class. Okay? It's a deliberate 5-step sort of sequence, and if you can just do it in this particular direction, you are going to be well developed in anthropology, right? Very strong in anthropology. Okay? Least amount of effort for the best sort of outcome. This is the least amount of effort in which you're going to have the best sort of comfort. Pehla wala step is going to be, and the most important thing is going to be about conceptual clarity. Okay? Conceptual clarity is very, very important when it comes to anthropology. Okay? So in case we are talking about, let's say you take a module like archaeology, right? What happens in archaeology, right? So if we are saying that, from lower Paleolithic to middle Paleolithic, right, there is, core tools, say flake tools, right? So even GS students will know it by the time they're done with their ancient history. But the important thing is, why is this an advancement? Okay? That becomes kind of important here, right? Okay, is it about cognitive sort of development here, right? Is it about understanding and pre-planning, right? Is it about, the kind of efficiency with which they have made their kind of tools? What exactly makes this an advancement, right? Then, so once you have the conceptual clarity about every one of these topics, the second step is going to be then to read the handout. Okay, what is step number 2? It is about reading handouts. Ki matlab kya hai? Okay, what are the sort of dimensions that we have to know? What it's about internalizing them, and also basically aligning with what you have just learnt and discussed in class, right? That conceptual clarity along with, reading, but purposeful reading, not just blind sort of reading. Third one is going to be assignments, and this course is going to be very assignment heavy. Okay, anthropology is one of those kind of subjects jahan pe the more the answer writing volume, and guided answer writing volume, the better your answers are going to sound. Okay, and you will have a lot of assignments. In fact, the first couple of batches, my students have written 1,500 plus pages of assignments. Okay, every day 4-5 questions agar aap likhoge, right, over a period of 3-4 months, imagine the number of pages that you've actually written, right? And especially for the batches that we have just finished, batch number 1, batch number 2, and batch number 3, right? Students are basically in the last step, which is the QEP kind of stage, and they're doing exceptionally well here. right? Along with assignments, you also have short notes making, so that entire sort of anthro, while anthro is not a very large sort of a subject, you still have to be able to sort of go through the syllabus, very, very quick, right? You get 4 days there, between your last exam in GS and your optional sort of exam. Okay, so if you can do it like really, really quick, you can get a lot more sort of like revisions done. So all of these things are going to be, something that you will do in class. And then after your 4 steps, you will move on to untimed tests or tests, which is your QEP, which is the next program that you will have. Okay, test series mein aapko achha sa karna hai. If your foundation is very strong, if you've actually followed this particular process, naturally you will be in the top 5, top 3, possibly even the top in this. Right? Okay, base agar strong hai. Like when you build a building, right, if the base is strong, naturally the final sort of outcome is going to be very, very strong. And why choose Sarrthi IAS for Anthropology Optional? See, first thing is that, it's about the content, okay? You have to do quality content. You cannot be, ek baar karna hai, achhe se karna hai. Okay, the content that we provide you here in class, it's not some random notes, it's not some stitch material here and there, right? It is extremely syllabus oriented. Every nook and cranny of the syllabus is going to be covered here, right? It is going to be syllabus aligned. It is going to be aligned with what UPSC exam is expecting. And it is repeatedly validated by the kind of results that we produce here, right? Very few people can actually say that our students clear in their very first mains, right? Research kar lo. You can see it. Most of our students are actually first mains ke students. Right. Second thing is about affordable course, right? Affordability. I think it's very important, right? UPSC is a tough exam, right? It's an exam that basically goes on. Just the exam goes on for a whole year. Okay? So we don't want it to be a financial sort of burden, and the course is very affordable, right? So you will see that, right? So yahan pe in this particular course itself, you have reading, you have conceptual clarity, you have writing, you have assignments, and you have personalized feedback from me. Okay? And the last one is going to be a credible faculty, right? So and you've seen that through the results. Right, 20% or more of the kind of students that have enrolled in the initial sort of batches that I've noticed have already done the course somewhere, or they have tried it by themselves, right? And they've not been able to sort of get that comfort with that subject. Okay? You will get that comfort with that subject if you can go through this entire sort of process, and even when you're writing your answers, it's basically sort of guided by the faculty. What is expected, right? What should you be trying out in the next sort of step? Right? In this next assignment, what are you expected to do? Right? Every single part of the syllabus, you should have that conceptual clarity when you walk out of class. Right? So this is one place where students are consistently sort of clearing anthropology in their very first mains. Right? And that's only here. Right? So, research kar lo, you can see it. Right? Scoring 140, 150, 160 is very, very good. But doing that in your 4th attempt, 5th attempt, 6th attempt, wo extraordinary nahi hai. Right? By then, most people have put in a lot of effort, lots and lots of answer writing, and lots of trial and error. But doing it for the very first time, that is a pretty big deal, right? And that is our main sort of goal. Most of our students have actually done it in their very first mains, right? So barring Aditya that you had seen in the set of our toppers pictures, right? Everybody else is basically in their very first mains with us, right? Okay, and that does not happen because of luck. It is because it's a strong foundation, right? We focus on getting every part of your syllabus very thorough for you. Right? You have to be trained like an anthropologist. You've got to be trained to make arguments, to be able to craft properly, right? And you should have this feedback, which is very continuous, and it's like a feedback sort of a loop, right? Our objective is to ensure that you have the least number of attempts, right? Attempts ko accumulate nahi karna hai, right? You've got to get it right the very first time. And the features of this course, you will have live classes with an emphasis on strong conceptual clarity. Anthropology is basically concept heavy, as I told you, right? It's not something that requires a lot of memorization, right? Neither is it going to be easy to score through brute force memory, right? It is something that you have to understand, concepts, ideas, and so on. And that will be the focus mainly in class, right? Then you'll have material. You can go through our material. It's fabulous. It'll help you answer a lot of questions, every part of the syllabus, right? It's going to be manageable. Please do only that, and that's more than sufficient, right? The whole idea is not to read more and more and more, right? The idea is to read less, okay, but to make the most out of it, to get the most out of it, right? You will also have a lot of daily assignments, a lot of answer writing in this particular course, right? So, come ready for it. And then, you will also have personal mentorship with me, right? So once you write, once you get the paper directly evaluated by me, then you can have sessions with me. We can speak, right? How have you done? What have you done well? What are the areas that you have to work on for the next sort of set of assignments, right? So that's about the course. So to conclude, we are starting this foundation batch, the next foundation batch on the 27th of Jan. That is Tuesday, right? From that day onwards, it is going to be a grind. It is going to be a tough grind for the next 4 months or so. So if you are ready to work, if you're ready to write, to take feedback, to improve, right? So this course will definitely take you to the next level. Come prepared for the grind. And I'll see you in class. All the very best. Take care and bye.